If you read some of the headlines today, you'll hear that Ukraine holds a weak hand against Russia. But history tells us that holding a weak hand doesn't necessarily mean you lose the game. Let me tell you about a time when another underdog, the Roman freaking Republic, faced what seemed like certain defeat and won. It's the year 2016, and Rome has just suffered one of the worst military disasters in history, the Battle of Cannae. Carthaginian General Hannibal absolutely wrecked the Roman army, surrounding them and annihilating them in this masterful tactical maneuver that's still taught today. Over 50,000 Roman soldiers were dead in a single day. This is a little bit less than the number of Americans lost in Vietnam over 8 freaking years. And it gets worse. In the aftermath, many of Rome's allies abandoned them. Scipio defects to Carthage, Tarentum falls. Even some Roman commanders start going like, hey, maybe we should negotiate with Hannibal. Sound familiar? You know, if you were an outside observer, Rome looked finished. Their army was shattered, their allies were defecting, they had no brilliant general that could counter Hannibal's tactical genius. Any reasonable person would say Rome should just cut its losses and surrender. But they didn't. Instead of surrendering, Rome adapted. They stopped sending big armies to fight Hannibal head on. Instead, they waged a war of attrition, adopted what we would now call asymmetric warfare, harassing supply lines, refusing direct engagements, grinding Hannibal down over the years. And Rome held on. Now, let's look at Ukraine here. They've lost ground. Russia is throwing everything they have at them. Western aid is uncertain. To some, it looks like Ukraine has a weak hand. But so did Rome. And like Rome, Ukraine isn't just fighting for land. They're fighting for survival. That means they don't need to win in the traditional sense. They just need to make it too costly for Russia to continue. Russia may seem overwhelming, but wars aren't won by looking at statistics on a page. Wars are won by logistics, by morale, by resilience. Look at Afghanistan, both the Russian and American examples. Rome knew this, and so does Ukraine. And if history tells us anything, it's that a determination, even one that looks weak on paper, can still turn the tide. Rome came back from the brink. 15 years after Cannae, Scipio Africanus invaded Carthage itself and ended the war at Zama. You know, Walter Russell Mead is an ivory tower academic who never served in the military. And some of the current members of the administration have never attended the kind of schools where you might learn about Scipio Africanus. So I suppose they can be forgiven for their lack of knowledge about military history. Rome's story wasn't over, and Ukraine's isn't either. You know, France supported the fledgling Continental Army for about 4 years with the supplies, weapons, advisors, men. You know, France is the reason the army says words like latrine, reveille, bivouac, cantonment. I don't recall France ever telling the U.S. that they should just surrender to England. You don't bend the knee to communists and dictators.
Please inform him that I do not care to drink with him or any other Russian son of a bitch.
You punch them in the face until they stop. If we bend the knee to Russia now, how long will it be until we beg the dragon that rises in the east to please eat us last? So the next time someone tells you that Ukraine has a weak hand, remember Rome. A weak hand doesn't mean a lost game. It just means you have to play smarter or maybe forge more reliable alliances. I'm surprised the Kurds haven't blocked our number. Thank you for watching.
Hey everyone! New Ryan Macbeth t-shirts and hoodies from Bunker Branding are available. I'm gonna get the HIMARS shirt. What are you gonna get, Donald? The Patriot shirt, because I'm a patriot. It's the best shirt, the biggest shirt. Make 14 tangos great again. What are you gonna get, Barack? Let me be clear. I'm gonna get a Drone Sweet Drone shirt. What about you, George?
I'm gonna get a Trident missile shirt because they're weapons of mass destruction.
Oh, I'm going to get a landmine marker shirt because my presidency always blew up in my face.
I'll tell you what I'm going to get.
Ronald Reagan, but you're dead.
I came back to tell you that no matter our politics, we're all Americans. And we should buy Ryan's hoodies and t-shirts because they pay for the stock footage and licenses that allow him to make awesome content. So come on down to Bunker Branding and buy a Ryan Macbeth t-shirt or I'll start the bombing in 5 minutes.